There we go. Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me live on such a beautiful sunny evening, or at least that's what it is in Kings Langley, Hertfordshire. And it's a bit of a celebration, a bit of a party, a listening party, where for the first time ever, you guys will get to hear this album. Ta-da! Literally, they arrived on my birthday last Friday. It was unplanned. I sent them to the printers sometime at the start of the month, and they were delivered on my birthday. So here they are. So as you can see, a nicer, more solid packaging, and the full 10 tracks, and also in there, ta-da, so that's a lovely picture that Matt took. And we have a lyrics booklet, of course, with some more lovely pictures. And yeah, so you can read all the lyrics. Again, I just obviously need to explain why this album has been released in so many different little stages. You know, first you had the Handmade EP with 4 tracks. I think it was 5. One of them was like an extended version. Then if you actually listen, if you're really geeky, you will see even those tracks that were on the original Handmade EP, just how much they evolved and changed, how much instrumentation got added, just how much more polished they are. That basically every version of this record has been just bigger and better and more expensive, which is why we've had to do it in stages, just to keep it all rolling and make sure we don't end up in debt for the rest of our lives. And because honestly, I mean, to be honest, it actually is obviously split 3 ways. But it is by far the most expensive album I've ever put out into the world. It's double the cost of Long Lost Home. And I think, well, partly because everything's gone up. Obviously, my producers' prices, rates have gone up. And just everything's more expensive those days, apart from the price of a CD. That's still a tenner. Anyway, it's not really, I'm not whinging, or maybe I am a little, but yeah, 10 grand to make this all together. But obviously, thanks to you and all your support, we have had, donations and, purchases of the different EPs and, the handmade stages. That's all been extremely helpful. And obviously the current pre-orders. Again, thank you guys so very much, and we're really proud of it, and it looks nicer in the flesh, if you like. It's beautifully printed, the colors are all perfect, and yes, so I'll be posting those. You will either get a copy from me or from Karen. Next week we will post them throughout the week, so I think by the end of the week you should all get your copy. If not, then maybe early the following week at the very latest. So we've also got all the little extras prepared for the exclusive, for the gift packages, etc, etc, etc. Okay, this is turning into a long, boring sales pitch. I'll play you the first 3 songs, because what I was about to say, I don't want to talk too much in between every track. So let me play you the first 3 songs, one after the other, and then explain why the album really falls into those 3 distinct segments. Out of those 3 songs, you would have heard a version of track 1 and track 3, possibly. So track 1 and track 3 were all on our 6-track EP, or it was a 5-track EP on Bandcamp, and now it's gone. It's been replaced with and superseded with this full album. Track 2 is actually a world premiere, but I think or is it? No, it's not, because obviously to you guys I have performed it solo. And so you would have heard it from me, but again, not in this whole glorious 3-part harmony. and with Katrina's beautiful fiddle and drums, and yeah, and the first time Trio performed this song together was at the Potteries Folk Club in Stoke-on-Trent quite recently, and so that was the Trio world live premiere of that track, and yes, that felt good. And it's a very hopeful song, and just you know, with all the darkness and cruelty in the world, all the things that enslave us, because cruelty and hate enslave not just the victim but the aggressor, the perpetrator too. They are enslaved by their own hate, you know, they're twisted by it. And so what we're yearning for as human beings is freedom. Freedom from cruelty, freedom from oppression, freedom from hate. So Song of the Free, Odette and I thought was quite an apt title. Anyway, gosh, what a challenge for me to just shut up and play the music. So here we go, we're going to start. Boom, boom, boom. Track 1, track 2, and track 3. Oh, there we go. I was talking too much that my speaker died. Come on. Hello. There we are. Okay, nice and loud.
My love's in Germany. Send him home, send him home. My love's in Germany. Send him home. He is brave as brave can be. Send him home, send him home. He is brave as brave can be. Send him home. He is brave as brave can be. He would rather fall than flee. Oh, his life so dear to me. Send him home, send him home. Oh, his life so dear to me. Send him home. Our fours are 10 to 3. Send him home, send him home. Oh, our fours are 10 to 3. Send him home. Our fours are 10 to 3. He would rather fall than flee. Oh, his life so dear to me. Send him home, send him home. His life so dear to me. Send him home. What makes heroic strife? Famed afar, famed afar. What makes heroic strife? Famed afar. What's right and what is wrong? A short sword and a long, a weak arm and a strong. For to draw, and go to take a life in bloody war. So leave your schemes alone in the state, in the state. Oh, leave your schemes alone, well alone. Leave your schemes alone, adore the rising sun, and send our young men home. Send them home, send them home. Send all the young men home, send them home. Go tell him to find me a parcel of land. Rosemary, daisy, and lily so fine, whenever a garment was held in a hand. Maybe that land could be yours and mine. Go tell her to find me an acre of sky. Rosemary, daisy, and lily so fine, whenever a chift or a missile could fly. Maybe that sky could be yours and mine. Go tell him to take me to some brighter shore. Rosemary, daisy, and lily so fine, where nobody knows the meaning of war. Maybe that shore could be yours and mine. Go tell her to take me to a valley of gold. Rosemary, daisy, and lily so fine, where everyone's child is allowed to grow old. Maybe that valley could be yours and mine. So ask him to sail me on an ocean so wide. Rosemary, daisy, and lily so fine, where peace and goodwill are like the flow of the tide. Maybe that ocean could be yours and mine. So ask her to sing me the song of the free. Rosemary, daisy, and lily so fine, that will carry along across land and sea. Maybe that song could be yours and mine. Maybe that song could be yours and mine. Wohin auch das Auge blicket, Moor und Heide nur ringsum, Vogelsang uns nicht erquicket, Eichen stehen kahl und krumm. Wir sind die Moorverlaten und ziehe mit dem Spaten ins Moor. We are the beatbox soldiers marching with
three tracks. Track 1, My Love's in Germany. Track 2, Song of the Free. That's an original. Odette and I wrote it together. And track 3, Pete Boggs Soldiers. Song from the concentration camps of 1930s Germany. And it's one of the songs on our album that has traversed cultures and languages and has been translated into a multitude of tongues, because it's one of those powerful songs that really just hits you in the guts, doesn't it? Well, so I guess I don't need to explain what is the connection between those three songs. It's that aspect of our album where the title Flowers evokes the image of flowers being placed in rifle barrels. It's peace songs. It's our heartfelt, desperate even, plea for peace and harmony in the world, and for the mistakes of the past to not be forgotten or repeated. That is the sentiment that is reiterated in the third segment of the album. But as for the second segment, that contains 4 songs, and I will be playing them shortly. Now, Song of the Free, shall I have a little quiz question there? Which song from Kara's second album, I don't know, has anybody here been following me for that long? Which song from Kara's second album, I had that little band called Kara back in the day, which song does that remind you of? Do you remember what it's called? I guess, obviously Scarborough Fair comes to mind, doesn't it? With, the herbs and the tasks. But yeah, Lover's Tasks on Some Other Shore, Kara's second album. Actually quite a sweet song, and it had lots of airplay, that one. So you know what? Just drop me a message in the chat if you don't have Kara's second album, Some Other Shore. I've actually got boxes of it in my attic, because unfortunately less than a year after that album was released, the band ceased to be. So there's no way I'm going to sell all those copies. So if you want one for free with your flowers, then just let me know, okay? Because I don't think it will cost me any extra postage. I can just, put an extra CD in the envelope for you. It's a nice album. It's got that, I don't really know. I mean, you will see the progress since then. There's certainly more rough edges on it, but yeah, back at the time, it was, well received, and we toured it, and it was quite a traumatic process recording that album, though, Some Other Shore. Kate in particular, that our Hammer dulcimer player, was going through some really tough personal stuff. So yeah, shall we say the studio sessions were emotional? No, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this, but so it was quite a hard labor. But when the album got made, it all, has always seemed to come together. Oh, we also, lost an accordion player, and got Phil in at the last minute, and yeah, so it was an interesting one. This one, Flowers, the latest project, even though it's a band, because since Kara, all my other albums have been solo, where, I'm like the queen, and on this album we have 3 queens, 3 divas, and you would have thought we would have, strangled each other by now. But, all that mythology about, pitting women against each other, that is just such utter baloney. Because actually, I've always really enjoyed working with women. I just think women musicians are a lot more easygoing in general. Sorry, guys. We really get each other, and so it's been a lovely smooth sailing mostly with this project, and we're still best of friends, and we're meeting at Katrina Davis, a wonderful fiddle player. We're meeting at her house in the Cotswolds tomorrow. And we're rehearsing because we've got a couple of amazing festivals coming up, including a headline at Wimborne Minster on Friday, the Friday night concert. We're actually headlining. I'm like, wow, you know, and because, you know, Catherine Roberts and Sean Lakeman are headlining the night after. Yeah, it's all Polly Morris. She's just ever so lovely. Yeah, she booked us for that amazing slot because she knows the debt. So she just assumed that Karen and I are just as brilliant. We'll just see. And anyway, so we're bringing Katrina for that live show, as well as of course, we've got Katrina with us at the album launch, which is at Walton Folk at the Riverhouse Barn Arts Centre on Sunday the 9th of June, and that's a matinee at 12:15. But guys, the amazing news is it will be live streamed because you know Walton Folk. You've seen my Eve album, EP rather, launch that was live streamed from there. So wherever you are, you don't need to buy your flights. Obviously, I would be thrilled to see you, but you don't have to, because you can just watch it in very high quality online on Sunday the 9th. So please do put it in your diaries. Of course, I'll send an invitation nearer the time, but yes, just put it in your diaries. 12:15 UK time. 9th of June, the Sunday. Right, okay, so the second segment of the album, gosh, I'm just honestly, I knew that would happen. I'm just realizing I have so much to say, and I could probably talk in about an hour about every track as well. But yes, the next 4 songs, we're moving on from War and Peace into, well, shall we call it Battle of the Sexes, even though I hate this cliche, totally hate it. I mean, so daft. But it's the general idea is that women that we sing about, or from the point of view of, on behalf of, aren't really blushing flowers to be plucked at will and discarded at will. Something that I was going to say, obviously the Cossack's Bride, which is part of this segment, is the song where it all started for the trio, and it's also a song I should mention that has got a very special memory for me, where it was my first experience of really stepping out and looking at a traditional song from a completely different angle, because obviously I grew up in a wonderful family. I've never been, brainwashed, and, I've never been in any way indoctrinated into any form of misogyny. God forbid. But when I was listening to Stenka Razin, which is, the Russian ballad that evolved into this version, which we call the Cossack's Bride, because we don't want to call it Stenka Razin. It's not his story. He's the villain. He's the utter bastard, excuse me. So why should it be named after him? Sadly, the nameless Persian princess, the Cossack's Bride, well, we wanted to be all about her and to give her a voice. And the first time that seed was planted is, I was at uni, first year, and I had this wonderful teacher. Her name was Raisa Ptichkina, and she was a widow of Yevgeny Ptichkin, a very well-known Russian composer, film and popular music. His songs are still sung. He's very well loved and respected. People might say a bit old-fashioned, but I would say very folk. I should really learn some of his songs, at least maybe one. His actual songs, because obviously the Cossack's Bride or Stenka Razin isn't one. That's a much older song. But But the reason I mention her is because she played me a version of Stenka Razin sung by Anna Gierman. And Anna Gierman is this phenomenal Polish singer that to me is the Eastern Europeans, behind the Iron Curtains version of Eva Cassidy. Because she has a similar quality of voice. She even looks similar, visually. And she has the same vulnerability and a tragic story and, untimely passing. And there's just so many parallels. But she has this utterly beguiling voice, very, again, from the heart, so soulful. And she sings this song, and all of a sudden you hear in her singing, in her interpretation, the voice of the princess, the woman's voice. And previously, the only versions I would have ever heard of the song were sung by male choirs in some beautiful harmony, you can imagine it. But somehow, when you sing that song in a male's voice, I wouldn't say it gives Stenka some sort of, excuse or platform. Well, but maybe, kind of subconsciously it does. Nobody would say that what he did was good, but, he was a hard man, hard times, a man of his time, all that, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you start thinking, it just washes over you, doesn't it? You don't realize the horror of the situation. And then you switch perspective, you switch voice, you give the woman a voice, and all of a sudden, wow, I just remember what a moment it was. And so Raisa Ptichkina opened my eyes to this. When I was literally just, I was learning, I was just absorbing it, I was like a sponge, and I wasn't really thinking or analyzing as much at the time. And obviously I wasn't really so, I was young and stupid. Anyway, so she was a wonderful influence on me, and she taught me to sing, to really sing, to put my heart into it. She supported me in her lessons, and it wasn't even music or singing lessons. I think it was something like enunciation or diction or whatever you call it, one of those really weird Soviet style subjects that I was studying as a media student at Moscow State Uni. And I think I might have mentioned that I dabble with some singing, and she just invited me to her incredibly posh Moscow apartment, that was like it was an apartment, but also once you step in it was like a mansion, she gave me all those tips. She said I think she said something like, it's hard to translate what she said in Russian, but it was something like, what a lovely piano, but the lid is down and it's locked. So basically, she told me that I had a lovely instrument in there somewhere, but you couldn't even get to the keys because the lid is locked. So she was, trying to use some lockpicks to open that piano. And, I guess eventually, years later, her efforts started paying off a little. But so I thought I'd honor her memory, because sadly she's no longer here, and it was incredible coincidence that her resting place next to her husband is literally a stone's throw from my grandmother's resting place. So when I went to my grandmother's grave, Raisa was right next to her, and that just blew my mind. True story. Anyway, so yes, Women Aren't Blushing Flowers. I'll play you 4 songs, and Cossack's Bride is one of them. Then the title track of the album, Flowers, which again to some of you is new, where a dastardly robber gets his comeuppance. And I would say it's a darker version of Three Billy Goats Gruff. Only instead of the Billy Goats, you have 3 lovely ladies. And we shot a music video, which we're editing at the moment, where we're singing and performing the parts of these ladies. And actually, you'll see something very uncanny in the video, in where Adette and I are switching voices. So actually in the video I'm singing with Odette's voice and she's singing with mine. But you know, it will all make sense. Anyway, and then May Colvin is about a plucky Scottish princess that I'm again talking so much my speaker died. There we go. So da 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 da. It's my Bluetooth speaker to get that music blasting. So basically after the drowning of the Persian princess by Steen Karazian, May Colvin, the Scottish princess, gets her revenge, and when a villain attempts to drown her, she says nope, not gonna happen, and drowns him instead. So again, that's a version of what's his face? Oh my god, I'm forgetting it. Outlandish Night, of course, Outlandish Night. Which one did I not mention? Oh, Lady Margaret. Yes, Lady Margaret. Oh my god, I could write a dissertation about that one. But basically, Der Erlkönig is the German poem by Goethe, and we absolutely hate the ending of that poem where the child dies because, you know, the fairies torment him so. So we've skipped that bit. In our version, the child survives and grows into a handsome man, and that's where Tam Lin, the ballad, steps in. And in Tam Lin, the original ballad, we hate the start of it because there's certainly a lack of consent going on in the start of that relationship between Tam Lin and Lady Margaret. So again, nope from us. So we've skipped that bit. Gets to the best point where Lady Margaret saves her true love, and they vanquish the spell that has bounded Tam Lin. Again, thinking about liberation, so freedom. In so many of our songs, the main prize is freedom. But anyway, I certainly have spoken too much. So here we go, the next 4 tracks, Women Who Are Not Blushing Flowers, Lady Margaret, The Cossack's Bride, and May Colvin. Here we go.
Blithe as could be, and then eyes are like diamonds, a lover's delight. She will be your flower, she will be your bride. She will be your flower, she will be your bride. My name it is Lily, the youngest of three. I went to the greenwood as blithe as could be, and there in the bracken I met a strange man, a lust in his heart and a knife in his hand. A lust in his heart and a knife in his hand. She took out a pistol, held it firm in her hand, and took a straight shot at that faithless young man, saying, "Here in the greenwood your body will bide, for I won't be your flower, I won't be your bride. I won't be your flower, I won't be your bride."
Wer reitet so spät durch Nacht und Wind? Es ist der Vater mit seinem Kind. Er hat den Knaben wohl in dem Arm. Er fasst ihn sicher, er hält ihn warm.
Who's riding on a night so wild? It is a father with his child. The boy is cradled in his arms. He holds him tight, he keeps him warm. My son, what scares you over there? Oh, father dear, beware, beware. The elven king is here. I hear him whispering in my ear. Дитя, скорите ко мне, всегда весна в моей стране. Не знать тебе забот земных, в моих чертогах золотых. Lady Margaret took her silver comb, made haste to comb her hair, and she's gone down to the chaser's wood as fast as she could dare, as fast as she could dare. Tonight it is the Halloween when the elven court shall ride, and if she would her true love say, and the old bridge she must hide, and the old bridge she must hide. Oh, she looked high and she looked low, she compassed all around. She nothing saw, she nothing heard, she heard no mortal sound, no sound, she heard no mortal sound. Until the darkest hour of night, she heard the bridles ring. It chilled her heart, gave her a start, more than any mortal thing, no thing, more than any mortal thing. First came the black horse, then the brown, her true love rode the white. She leapt and wrapped him in her arms. He didn't her affright, he didn't her affright. Then thunder roared across the sky, the stars shone bright as day. The elven queen gave a thrilling cry, Tamlin he is away, away, Tamlin he is away. They changed him then, all in her arms, into a lion wild. She held him tight, she feared him not, the father of her child, the father of her child. They changed him then, all in her arms, into a dog to bite. She held him tight, she feared him not, he didn't her affright, he didn't her affright. Oh, they changed him there, all in her arms, to a white hot bar of iron. She held him tight, she feared him not, he done to her no harm, no harm, he done to her no harm. Oh, they changed him then, all in her arms, into a naked man. She wrapped him in her cloak so warm. Tamlin, my love, we've won. 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 Из-за острова на стрежень, на простор речной волны выплывают расписные стенки разина челны. Proudly sail, they are abreasted, ships of Cossack yeomanry. On the first ship's anchored Asin, captive princess by his side, drunken stands in marriage revels with his beautiful young bride. Like a drum, my heart was beating, and your kiss was sweet as wine. With her eyes downcast, the princess, like a ghost in reverie, sits in silence as her captor rants and raves in drunken glee. From behind there comes a murmur, has a leader been unmade? One short night and staggered us in, for a wench has us betrayed. One short night and staggered us in, for a wench has us betrayed. Und sie spotten selbst im Weibe, hat den Helden sie gemacht. Stenka hört es und der Alte Recke ist in ihnen wach. Stenka is this and the princess he has circled with his hand. Volga, Volga, Mother Volga, Volga русская река, не видала ты подарка от донского казака. You've not had yet such a present from the Cossacks of the dawn. Now with one swift mountain motion, he has raised his bride on high, and has cast her where the waters on the Volga roll and sigh. И забот ее бросает в набежавшую волну. Schuldet weit in die Fluten, und die Woge trägt sie fort. Now the carnival is over, I will love you till I gone to a maid of beauty fair, father's only heir. He would a here, he would a there, he would a night and day, until he got the lady's consent to mount him right away. On a milk-white steed they rode away as fast as they could flee, until they came to a lonesome place, a rock beside the sea. By the raging tide a lady did ride to a rock beside the sea, to a rock beside the sea. Leap off the steed, says for Sir John, your bridal bed you see. For 7 kings' daughters I have drowned, and the 8th one you will be. Cast off, make Colvin, your gown and finery, for it's ever too good and ever costly to rot in the salty sea. Then turn around and false Sir John, look to the leaf of the tree, for it never became a gentleman, a naked woman to see. So he turned himself straight round about and looked to the leaf of the tree. So swift as our May Colvin was, she pushed him in the sea. In the raging tide of evil wife, she pushed him in the sea. Oh, she pushed him in the sea. Oh help, make Colvin. Oh, help or else I'll drown, and I'll take you back to your father's pool and leave you safe and sound. No help, oh false Sir John, no help or pity for thee. For 7 kings' daughters you have drowned, and 8th one I won't be. So when she got on her milk-white steed, they swiftly rolled away, and she got back to her father's pool before the break of day. Oh, the raging tide she did ride, so far from the briny sea, so far from the briny sea.
There we go. Woo. Oh, there's a lovely comment. Oh yes, Alison says there's an interesting story about the poet Thomas Hardy and Outlandish Night. Yeah, go over to the chat. This is fascinating. So I only wish that more of the women in his novels, Thomas Hardy, survived, as well as the lady who outwitted the knight. Oh, thanks. Wow, very good point. So we've got 3 songs to go on the album. For the last one, by the way, credit where it's due, the melody is by Emily Smith, who's a wonderful Scottish or Scots singer. And so if you're not familiar with her work, please do check her out. She's amazing. She has a lovely version of May Colvin herself. Well, obviously she wrote the tune. The ballad is old, but yes, she modernized it. Yes, it's a lot longer. Ours is only 2 minutes and something. Hers is epic. And also I have to say that instead of attempting to sing in any form of Scots or attempting a Scottish accent, I think we just decided to bypass that whole avenue. And, you know, actually same as My Loves in Germany, which obviously has bits of Robert Burns and Ye Jacobites by name. Again, we've, you know, with apologies to my beloved Scotland, we've decided rather than bastardize, we anglicize. So yes, guilty, sorry. Didn't really want to make it sound comical with a Russian, especially a Russian and a German attempting Scottish accents. I think that would have been way dodgy. I wish you'd heard, you know, because I used to actually, you know, I told you I was in that little band and I did try to sing some Burns songs in particular. It was appalling, you know, me trying to sing in Scots. You know, if you had any of those CDs, you'd use it as blackmail material, surely. Anyway, with the last 3 songs, we're returning to the theme of peace and resistance. Yet all of those 3 songs at the end of the album fittingly also have a theme of saying goodbye, a theme of farewell. true nostalgic vibe, and you know, yes, there's something about them that either of them really could have been the final track of the album, but instead it's three of them in a row, and we're starting with our version of Bella Ciao. And when Karen initially suggested that song, I was like, oh gosh, you know, to me that just sounded quite pop, and you know, the sort of thing that actually Karen and Paul went to Rome recently, and they sent a video of an accordionist singing Bella Ciao to a crowd on a piazza, and you know, everybody's, you know, the crowd went mad, and you know, you really and in fact Adele actually picked up the accordion, so we now have an accordion in our live set thanks to that one track. Yeah, so you know, Adele is like that. She just went and learned the accordion, you know, easy, no problem. She still hasn't learned the lyrics to all the songs, you know, she has a little cheat sheet on her mic stand, and yeah, Karen and I are really winding her up about it. But musically speaking, she's you know, obviously she's totally kicking our little backsides because of all the instruments she's playing to such a high standard. And yes, just went ahead and learned an accordion, yeah. And then bought a nice instrument at Shrewsbury Festival where she played last year. And yeah, the rest is history. So now we have an accordion player in the band. Anyway, so that's Bella Ciao. What I was saying, yes, at first it just seemed to be, that's totally a silly idea. You know, it's a bit of a song that maybe like Those Were the Days, in fact, kind of suffers from its popularity. But obviously those were the days. You know, you guys have forgiven me for it. And Bella Ciao likewise has been translated into a multitude of languages. And then actually when you listen to the words, it's totally perfect fit for this album. And of course the flowers upon the mountain. So yeah, just really listen to the lyrics, because I guess if you sing it blah 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 ciao 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 whatever, you know, it all again goes over your head. But with the way that we're presenting it in three languages including English, all of a sudden those lyrics stand out and it just hits you. It's a bit like listening to Copacabana for the first time with actually paying attention to the lyrics. Like, that's dark. And you know, Bella Ciao is a little bit like that. Such a jolly melody, but the lyrics are powerful and dark. And of course I don't need to sell you how powerful Pete Seeger's Where Have All the Flowers Gone is. And I'll just point out an amazing connection that Mikhail Sholokhov, the Russian novelist, whose novel and Quiet Flows the Don, Pete Seeger was inspired by, where he found that Cossack lullaby that he turned into this incredible song, was in the novel by Mikhail Sholokhov. And Mikhail Sholokhov and I share a birthday, same as Bob Dylan and Queen Victoria, you know. So I'm in good company there. Yes, Erica finds that funny. Yeah, she's not asleep. Yeah, she's a late night owl these days. Anyway, so Bella Ciao, then Where Have All the Flowers Gone, and Those Were the Days, a song that needs no introduction. Again, I think all of those songs, all three, also the connection between them is that they're trilingual, and each of us sings it in her respective native tongue. So yeah, when we first did the Cossack's Bride, we were thinking, how long is this gimmick gonna last? Does it really have legs? And then we figured actually it does. And also, you know, we then found other ways to express ourselves as well. In fact, so obviously the three characters in Flowers, you know, the three maidens that outwit the baddie, and the fact that we've distributed parts in May Colvin, where, you know, Adele is the narrator, Karen's the baddie, and I'm the princess. I will sing you a song at the end, so you know, I actually will do some live performing, otherwise I feel I'm just, you know, slacking here. I will sing you a brand new song, or in fact not even a song, a beginning of a song, like draft number 0.00001. And that song obviously is not going to be on Flowers. Well, it's too late for that, but I wrote it for the trio as I was driving back from our previous rehearsal, because, you know, I was just so buzzing and inspired by working with those incredible ladies. So I wrote this song for the trio specifically. It's going to be another original song that we are going to learn eventually, and I'm sure Karen and Adele will contribute and, you know, add their own touches and edits, and also hopefully a very epic chorus as well, which is currently missing maybe. Yeah, so there will be a complete world premiere. Only Odette and Karen have heard it so far at the end of this presentation. But first, the last 3 songs on our debut album, Flowers. Here we go.
Goodbye, my beauty. Goodbye, my darling. Oh, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, ciao, ciao. I woke this morning and there were soldiers. The invasion had begun. Lend me your shoulder, we stand together. Oh, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Lend me your shoulder, we stand together. But now I feel my time is done. Однажды утром я вдруг проснулся. О, Бella ciao, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Однажды утром я вдруг проснулся и увидел в стране врага. У Partisanen, kommt, nehmt mich mit euch. Oh, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Partisanen, komm, nimm mich mit euch, denn ich fühl, der Tod ist nah. And if I die here in their resistance, oh, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, ciao, ciao. And if I die here in the resistance, you must lay me in my grave among the flowers upon the mountain. Oh, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Among the flowers upon the mountain, let me rest among the brave. Someday the people will pick the flowers. Oh, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Someday the people will pick the flowers, and then they'll remember me. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. Цветок же это, кровь партизана. Oh, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Es ist die Blume des Partisanen, der für unsere Freiheit starb. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Come to young girls, everyone. When will we ever learn? When will we ever learn? Where have all the young girls gone? Wo sind sie geblieben? Sag mir, wo
Sag mir, wo die Mädchen sind. Männer nahmen sie geschwind. Wann wird man je verstehen? When will we ever learn?
Where have all the young men gone? Было их немало. Молодые, где мужья? Где их найдем? Нет мужей и нет ребят. Взяли на войну в солдат. Поймем и не поймем.
When will we ever learn? Where have all the soldiers gone? Wo sind sie geblieben? Sag, wo die Soldaten sind. Was ist geschehen? Sag, wo die Soldaten sind. Über Gräbern weht der Wind. Wann wird man je verstehen? When will we ever learn?
Where have all the graveyards gone? Было их немало. Где могилы, где кресты? Как их найдем? Где могилы, где кресты? На лугах цветут цветы. Поймем и не поймем.
When will we ever learn? Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Sag mir, wo die Blumen sind. Was ist geschehen?
Где, скажи мне, те цветы наших девушек мечты?
When will we ever learn? Wann wird man je verstehen?
Поймем и не поймем.
When will we ever learn?
Ехали на тройке с бубенцами, а вдали мелькали огоньки. Когда бы мне теперь за вами душу бы развеять от тоски.
An jenem Tag, mein Freund, da haben wir gemeint, die Zeit bleibt stehen, allein nur für uns zwei. Doch ehe wir nachgedacht und alles wahr gemacht, da war der Tag für uns schon längst vorbei.
Those were the days, my friend, we thought they'd never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day. We'd live the life we choose, we'd fight and never lose, for we were young and sure to have our way. Then the busy years went rushing by us. We lost lost her starry notions on the way. And if by chance I'd see you in the tavern, we'd smile to one another and we'd say,
Tag, mein Freund, da haben wir gemeint, die Zeit bleibt stehen, allein nur für uns zwei. Darüber nachgedacht und alles wahr gemacht, da wäre der Tag für uns schon längst vorbei.
Дорогой длинною, да ночкой лунною, да с песней той, что даль летит звеня, да с той старинною, с той семиструнною, что по ночам так мучила меня. Those were the days, my friend, we thought they'd never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day. We'd live the life we choose, we'd fight and never lose, for we were young and sure to have our way.
Die Zeit bleibt stehen, allein nur für uns zwei. Das той старинною, с той семиструнною, da war der Tag für uns schon längst vorbei.
Oh, we were young and sure to have our way.
And resolves into a major key. There we go. Well, now's your opportunity to ask for your money back. You were like, oh, no, yeah, can I have my money back now? Anyone? Yeah, you've heard it. You've heard it all. So there we go, all 10 tracks. Anybody has a favorite track? You want to put it in the chat? So, just wondering, because also, you know, monitoring our airplay so far, I think all the tracks have been played already. So again, that's always a good sign when it's not just one standout track on an album, when, you know, they all get their little chance to shine. Yes, so it's only been a couple of weeks when the radio DJs have had the album, and yes, I think all 10 tracks have had their airplay, which is fantastic. You know, love it. Oh, all of them. Thank you. You don't have to say that. What's your least favorite track? Right, I promised you a brand new song, or I don't know what I call it, and yes, so who produced it? Thanks, Tony, thanks for asking. Jason Emberton, who also plays drums, most of the bass. Oh, by the way, it's Karen who plays the woodwind, and she also obviously plays it live. So our live sound is actually quite rich, so you will hear, well, obviously you won't hear those full-on, you know, full drum kit instrumentations, but what we do live is quite juicy as well. Yes, a beautiful woodwind, that's Karen. Yeah, Jason Emberton produced it, you know, mixed, mastered. He's a bit of a genius, really. I have worked with him since Long Lost Home. So he's produced Long Lost Home, he's produced Earthly Delights for me, he's produced my latest, you know, watch the tracks that you heard on Eve, and he's almost finished with my new solo album, Motherland. But guys, I'm so sorry, I'm delaying the release purely for logistical and financial reasons, because obviously I will need to pay to actually get those CDs made, plus, you know, it would be really silly to bring it out at the same time as Flowers. So it's pretty much done, but I am delaying it because, you know, I need to give Flowers time to breathe, and then, you know, again, just to accumulate some money to actually pay for the printing of the CDs. But yeah, we're pretty much there with Motherland. and there will be a listening party. I'm sure I'll have a very early pre-release and secret pre-release for you guys before I do the main launch. So yeah, rest assured. Yeah, he also plays strings, all the sort of fairy dust that you hear on the tracks, all the really, really clever stuff. That's Jason. Piano on Those Were the Days, that's Marina Osman, of course, unmistakable, can't really, yeah, so her style and her, multi-fingered, 100-fingered virtuosity, you can't really mistake or beat that. Yeah, and Katrina Davis plays beautiful fiddle, apart from, except for The Cossack's Bride, where it's Phil Beer. Yes, Johnny Dyer guests on May Colvin with guitar. And is there anybody else I'm forgetting? Hopefully not, but obviously it's all in the album credits, and they can shoot me later if I've forgotten them. But I think that's, and the rest is all of us. So Adette plays guitar, bouzouki, accordion, and I play a bit of shruti box here and there. But yeah, when we tour the album, I also play a bit of guitar, a bit of bouzouki. Adette and I do some switcheroos. I play the bar run. Yes, so Jason Emerton, the producer, he's also a phenomenal drummer, and my dream is to do a gig with him, but he's such a perfectionist. You need to have like 20 rehearsals because he wants to bring not just his drums, but like a whole pedal board of effects, and basically just reproduce the sound of the album live. So do the sort of stuff Frankie Archer does, but even even more advanced, with all that electronica, and that would be so amazing. I mean, if I can pull that off, but it has to be perfectly rehearsed. You can't be out of time. Everybody needs to be exactly 100% what they're doing and when. The whole band need to be almost like military precision there. Otherwise, it all falls to bits, because you can't really bounce off each other, and just if somebody makes a mistake, then everybody else covers up. It's just not gonna happen. So yeah, I wonder if I'm ever gonna pull off a gig at that level. Hopefully one day, but anyway, so that's Jason for you. And then obviously if I do manage to do a gig with him, then you'll actually get to meet him, you'll get to see him. He's a lovely guy, he's such a sweetheart, really. I make him sound like some sort of like demigod geek, but he's very laid back, very lovely. Yeah, he's a dad, he's got 2 gorgeous boys. Yeah. Anyway, I promised you like a fetus of a new song, so that's where it begins, and who knows what it's going to grow and develop into. I calling it at the moment Beyond the Sea, and it's a story of 3 women, one historical, obviously quite legendary though, and the 2 others 100% legendary or from fairy tale origins. Again, I could write a dissertation about where that song comes from and what it's trying to say, but in a nutshell, it's imagine, because basically when you have those strong women in history, those women who really broke the mold, the likes of Alyona Varzamas from, my latest solo single, Ataman, still, she didn't really get to tell her own story. Obviously, she wrote her story with her actions and her bravery, but she didn't really get to write a chronicle about herself. So generally, just the history of the world, and even the history of the strong women of the world, has been so far mostly written by men. And so the song, however, it's obviously when I sing it, it will speak for itself, but it's just a wish of all women to have their own voice to speak with, to sing with, and to tell their own stories in their own words, in their own voices. And the pattern that repeats is, again, how men come to dominate those women eventually. So the first heroine of the song is Boudica, And obviously I wrote that part I wrote for Odette, so Odette will be singing that part. And again, just, crushed by the very, I mean, to me, obviously, Rome is such a, male entity as a, as a culture somehow. Again, I wish we heard more female voices from Rome, but obviously, even, just picture the Roman army and, so that wild, chaotic, rebellious movement got completely crushed and bulldozed over, and her voice was silenced. Again, the whole thing beyond the sea. Now that's a funny thing, is obviously Boudica was beyond the sea, the queen beyond the sea from, the Roman perspective. Then the second queen beyond the sea is Brunhild from the Nibelungen, that Germanic epic. And again, look her up. So she was literally a queen from beyond the sea, from some outlandish kingdom. And she was blessed with beauty and superhuman strength. And also she fell in love deeply and naively with the hero of the epic, Siegfried. And she got tricked. So she ended up being tricked by Siegfried and into marrying a man whom she didn't want to marry, who she deemed unworthy, whom she despised. And then again, this whole dynamic of her being tamed into this marriage that was really beneath her, where she was degraded, where she was humiliated, and her heart was broken, and her love for Siegfried grew into something quite ugly and bitter. And the third woman, so again, Brunhild, of course, will be sung by Karen. And the third heroine is Maria Marievna, Zamorskaya Korolevna. So Zamorskaya Korolevna in Russian literally means queen beyond the sea. And again, to me, there's such an interesting pattern emerging. Those outlandish women beyond the sea, in some kingdom where things are different, where women can somehow be so powerful and so free that they have to be tamed and brought over from beyond the sea to be, made normal, if you know what I mean. There's a bit of irony there. Yet, wouldn't they be happier, free and happy? Yes, and just with the sea air in their lungs and the wind in their sails. Yeah, maybe they just want to live beyond the sea and have a happy life and sing their songs loudly with their own voices. Anyway, Maria Marievna, a really weird Russian fairy tale where this amazing warrior queen has this encounter with a knight, with just some random knight called Ivan, and she takes a fancy to him. They meet on a battlefield, actually, where she's just vanquished a huge army, and he comes across her tent, and she invites him in, and they make love for 3 nights in a row, and all of that, lovely. So she fancies him, they get married, and then all of a sudden she transforms. The fairy tale just, doesn't really make much of it, but all of a sudden she's this completely, docile wife. Or maybe not initially, because initially she goes off to war and tells her new husband to not go in the cellar. There's one rule in my house, is that you're not going down that cellar. And of course he does, and he opens the cellar and he releases the evil warlock Koshay the Deathless, who then goes off and kidnaps Maria and takes her to his castle, and then our Ivan has to go on a rescue mission. But the thing is, think about it, Maria had that immortal, immensely powerful warlock actually chained in her cellar to begin with. She put him there. So how come she's now having to turn into this damsel in distress and wait rescue so, in such a docile and pathetic manner, so that Ivan has to go on this whole mission? I guess, maybe... I don't know. I find the transformation quite silly. And again, so there's another angle to this whole thing, that this queen beyond the sea gets tamed and, brought over into a more shall we say, traditional realm and, you know, just becomes someone else. So anyway, yes, that's a very long explanation, and here's the song. And then thank you guys so much. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, well, I'll say my goodbyes in a bit. Oh my god, I've just been, you know, my brain is completely full of the album, so yeah, I just need to maybe give myself a little bit of a hint on how the song starts, because again, it's just so new as well. There we go. My name was Boudica, I was a queen from beyond the sea, a warrior bold, stories were told, songs were sung about me. But here is my plight, my courage and might were crushed by the fist of Rome. Revenge was my right, but fight as I might, I couldn't save my home. My name was Brunhild, I was a queen from beyond the sea, a warrior bold, stories were told, songs were sung about me. But here is my truth, my beauty and youth were crushed by the tricks of man. A love-struck maid, my heart was betrayed, and I couldn't love again. Maria Marievna, I was a queen from beyond the sea, a warrior bold, stories were told, songs were sung about me. But here is my plight, when I married a knight, all my might was put on a shelf. He was to be the hero, not me. I couldn't save myself. But tell you the truth, I wish I could choose how to tell my own tale. Beyond the sea, happy and free, my voice like the wind in my sail. Beyond the sea, happy and free, my voice like the wind in my sail. There we go. I think I'm going to stop recording now. Gosh, it's been a long one. Thanks for staying with me. Yeah, but you know, unless it's your bedtime, don't worry about going away. Ask me lots of questions. So thanks very much to everybody listening live and to the recording. The recording will now stop. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.